Hello everyone, welcome back to the next session of our convention for 2021 New Visions. In this session, we're going to see two different demonstrations from two of our member groups of the Australian Floral Art Association, the Victorian Floral Art Association and the Floral Design Council of South Australia. Let's go to the first of our demonstrations by one of our member groups. That is the Victorian Floral Art Association. Today, the VFAA are represented by their current president, Josie Brennan.
Hello there, everybody. For those who don't know me, I'm Josie Brennan. I live in Melbourne and currently the Victorian Floral Art Association president. Well, if doing a demonstration at a national convention wasn't daunting enough, having to do it by video has certainly thrown a curveball at me. I've learned so much about computers, about videoing, about the effects of the light on a camera, and so, you know, you learn something as you go through life. And I just have an idea to show you today. Flowers have been very hard for us to source here in Victoria. We've been in lockdown for so long, and I've done my best with those, and even those, you know, kind of you always have problems with, but I think that happens to us all, no matter where we are. So the idea that I'm going to show you today is something that I came up with when it was suggested that by the VFAA that the title for MIFCUS, not last year, not this year, not last year, but the year before, because both have been cancelled, was called Silver Threads. And I thought, no, it's really good to be able to take a structure with you. And I discovered in Bunnings these things called screw-in insert nuts. And they're really quite amazing because they allow you to use a structure that you can screw your mechanic into, like these metal rods, and know that it's going to be fairly stable, because as lots of you would know, taking wooden poles in and out can be, you know, a little bit arduous. And so with this system, I have used a geometric formation, and we just drill a hole into the wood, then we put the insert nut into that wood, and then into that we use a metal pole and we screw it into there. Now, it's also possible to screw all the way through, so you would be able to make structures that way. And then you just screw it in. Should it ever be at all wobbly, you can use a little bit of plumber's tape. But in my design here, I've got cross beams, and so the lashing is going to make sure that they don't wobble at all. The applications of this are just unbelievable. I mean, I could use this particular frame that I have made to fit on top of a 30-centimetre plinth. And so you can just go along, that's all flat packed, put it together, and then drop it onto a plinth. And that obviously makes it really good if you're catching an airplane or driving somewhere and you've got a lot of other stuff to carry. But I would also be able to use this if I decided that I wanted to mount a branch across this way. I could have just two of my metal poles, lash the branch to that, could do horizontal designs really easily that way, have it flat that way, have layers. You know, your imagination is, you know, the only thing that stops you, you know, kind of working out ways of using this. So that's what I've done. And I've obviously spray painted it black, and I've put test tubes onto the sides of the rods. COVID again, lockdown again, didn't have 9 test tubes exactly the same. So I've used 2 sets and tried to organise them in a pattern that looked like, you know, far better than just doing it randomly. I think with mechanics, you've really got to concentrate a lot on making sure that they're really neat, they're really strong, and they actually give something to the design, especially in contemporary design, because what I'm doing here is a contemporary design. And the human eye is just so keen to seek order. And when we do a contemporary design, we're showing our mechanics, so they've got to be good looking. I mean, if you're going to show your petticoat, you always make sure it's CVS lace. So I'm going to show you what I am going to do here, and I will do my best. I hope my camera setup is good enough, but as I've said before, it is just so very difficult working out how to do all this properly. And so I'm a person that really does like structural style designs. I do like contrast, like I love working with green and white and black. In this design, I have in actual fact just gone for the white. The title for MIFGS was Silver Threads, because it was going to celebrate MIFGS's 70th birthday. And it looks like we might get to do that for their 77th. Hopefully it goes ahead next year, because it's a wonderful, wonderful event to go to. And it really is a good one to showcase floral art from both the florist point of view and the amateur designer like us. So I'm just placing these in a graduation form, or gradient form really, I suppose is what you would call it. And just trying to make it feel a bit like a diamond that's coming down. If you were able to see it from the top, you would see it was a diamond shape like that. And so I've just got some irises here, which have been, dreadfully woeful at doing anything that I wanted. So they came from the wholesaler on the Thursday. It is now Monday. They're not all opened, and when these started opening, the ones that were really open started failing. Anyway, that's the lot of a floral artist. And so, as I say, I'm just trying to create a pattern here. It's pleasing to the eye. And also, I actually have discovered, even though I really do absolutely love using white, it does not photograph very easily. And I've actually found that white flowers photograph in the dark better than they do in full light. So when I've done something white, I now bring it inside and put it in a dark place to take a photograph of it. Now, obviously, these guys are going to just jump around because they can. And so that's my flower placement. And given that it's a geometric pattern, it's actually quite hard to make sure that you don't end up going to traditional. And that is, kind of obviously easier said than done. And so what I've done is I've got just 2 points here, and I'm going to accentuate those points by adding some greenery to them. Yeah. And I will take a photograph of this after I've had a little bit of a fiddle with it to make sure that it's all looking as I would like it, because doing things to a camera is not quite as easy as, just playing with the design. Not too bad. And then here, I'm just going to repeat that one iris leaf and the fishbone fern. Now the fishbone fern, I suppose you could go, oh, Josie, that is just a little bit too traditional. but I've turned it into that spear shape by stripping the bottom parts of them. And I think that's really given it a contemporary feeling. And again, we just keep coming back to the fact that, you know, we just don't have available to us all of our friends' gardens, the ability to go to the wholesalers and pick flowers out yourself. So I'll come with the idea and I've gone, okay, then irises would be great. And then everything else, I'll just bit by bit gone, well, what does it need? And I've gone, it needs a bit of height. So, okay, then we'll put some iris leaves in. Then we need a little bit more interest because just the iris leaves are a little bit boring, but they do give a nice line and a little bit of continuity to the design. And then the fishbone fern is just a little bit playful. As I said, some might think it's a little bit, you know, traditional, but that's okay. And as I say, I'll have a fiddle with this after I finish the video and put a photograph of it up, because there's nothing worse than watching people fiddle, especially when their hands are shaking as much as mine are. Oh dear, please, play ball, come on. You're supposed to be being friendly. There you go, now you're being nice and friendly. And so we've got that, and I feel that I've got, you know, a really nice gradation of the colours coming down, and you're getting to appreciate each one of the iris heads, which are a really beautiful form. And we do need something else. Something else to maybe make it a little bit more playful, something else to bring a little bit more colour down to the bottom of the design. So I thought to myself, what do I have? And I went, yellow. So why don't we just put a couple of groupings of some billy buttons, which I have cut the stems off, leaving just a short shank, used a little bit of cold glue to ensure that my silver wire would stay attached, and just bound it around, and, you know, thereby also bringing in that idea of silver threads back through it. And I also thought with the solid yellow, I possibly would be able to get, you know, your eye to travel back through the design to give it just a little bit more rhythm. I'm not going to put them in every section. And before I'm finished, I'll actually spin the design around just so you can see it from the various different angles, because it's actually really quite interesting. The graphic forms of the poles, you know, are interesting. And we really don't want to overdo this. We just want to just give it a little bit of colour and probably just a little bit of fun. And the lovely yellow hanging down. And I think probably we need 3 somewhere. So I think we might make that's a bit, we'll make this one a 3. And we'll just really try and drop this little guy down as low as we can. And of course, when I'm finished, I'll tidy up. Although, unfortunately, I don't think you will be able to see all of this fine detail anyway, because of the quality of the video. But unfortunately, that's the best I could do. That's it. So maybe just one really up high here. Yeah, I think that's made that a little bit more fun. Okay then, well, as I said, I'll have a tiny little fiddle with this and make sure all the flowers are in exactly the spot that I would want them, and I will take a photograph of it for you to see. I hope you enjoyed my video. I don't know if I'll do another one, but anyway, and I hope you enjoy the convention. A lot of work's gone into turning it into a virtual competition, entertainment. Francine Thomas's demonstration will be amazing because she is a really talented, generous floral designer. So enjoy yourselves, and I do hope to catch up with all of you in person really soon. Bye-bye.
Well, there we go. There's our entertainment from the Victorian Floral Art Association for this morning. Our next demonstration is provided to us by the Floral Design Council of South Australia. And representing them today is Patsy Stamp, who is also on the National Management Committee of the Australian Floral Art Association.
Welcome to the Australian Floral Art Association's National Convention, hosted by the Floral Art Association of New South Wales. New visions. Well, who would have thought that this title would have come to fruition so quickly? Definitely new visions. New take on a conference being a virtual one, our first virtual conference ever. Hello, my name is Patsy Stamp. I live in Adelaide, South Australia. South Australia is known for many things. Our great wine growing areas, the Floral Peninsula, the West Coast for our surfing beaches, Kangaroo Island for our wildlife, and the Tour Down Under, the bicycle race, and our beautiful golf courses. My design today is themed around golf. I've made a golf bag out of wire mesh. I got this idea from Ants and Lowe. We're using the mesh, and I found this green mesh and I put it together, bound the sides so that hopefully it resembles something looking like a golf bag. So in our golf bag we have golf clubs. So originally the golf clubs were made out of wood. So for my woods I've chosen some orchids, some bidding orchids, because I thought they had quite big heads, like the woods, because they have quite big heads. Originally the woods were made out of wooden materials, but now they're made out of other materials, I think, so that people can hit the ball further and faster. So I'm going to just place these woods into the wire mesh. Normally you'd have your woods sitting up the top of your bag, but we're going to be a bit creative today, and I'm going to put them down here inside the bag. So I have to concentrate, so I'll probably stop talking now. Try not to get these. We were quite lucky during the pandemic, when it originally hit Australia. We were still allowed to play golf. As you can tell, that golf's sort of become a passion. Here are my woods in there. I think I've got enough in there. And initially we played golf in threes and then fours, because our golf pro found out that it was very good for people's health, their mental health and their physical health, to play golf. So the other things that go in our bag are the irons. So for the irons I've chosen these roses, because the irons heads aren't quite as big as the woods. So I'm going to place some roses into my golf bag. all my irons. So I was quite lucky. About 6 years ago, we held the Women's Australian Open Golf Tournament here in Adelaide, and I put my name down to volunteer. So ever since then, golf's become quite a passion of mine. So I think I was going to put something else in the back there. I might just grab another little awkward I might put in, so we have a bit of back to front balance. That's something that you need when you're playing golf, is good balance as well too. I'm just going to turn this around because I'm working from the back just to make sure that it's looking okay from view at the front. Okay. Floral art and golf have gone together for quite a while. WFAA have often included a golf day in their programs when they've held their conferences overseas, or the World Fair shows. WFAA even held one of their seminars in a golf resort. That was the one in Ireland, and I was fortunate enough to be able to go over to Ireland for that competition, or that seminar, and stop at the golf resort. Just take a little bit off of there, so they're not all sitting on the same level. And you might have to chop those down a bit. Okay, so that's the clubs in my bag, in my golf bag. Now I need something to hit with these clubs. So I've got to find some balls, some golf balls. So for my golf balls, I've chosen some Hypericum berries, because I thought the colour goes quite well with the other flowers that go in there. I think they go in there. Pop those in there. Now that I've turned it around, I've just realised I've forgotten a very important piece of equipment that has to go in my golf bag. It's my putter. So that's very important. So for my putter, I've chosen an anthurium, hoping that that spike will help me to putt my ball very straight. So I'm going to put my anthurium in there, in the front there. So that's not quite all the equipment that we need for golf. We need something to put these balls on, tees, so that we can hit them. So I've got some tees here that I'm going to thread through the mesh. Just to, oops, don't want that white one. I think I might just use pink ones. Oops, he's fallen in there, but that's all right. You lose tees out on the golf course, and you lose balls. That's why we need lots of balls in our golf bags as well too. So we have to really thank the New South Wales Floral Art Association Committee, because they've been working really, really hard to make sure that this conference has gone ahead this year. We missed out last year when it was in Victoria, but the New South Wales committees worked very, very hard to help us enjoy our passion, floral art. Although my husband doesn't think he does think that floral art is my passion, not golf. But I think I enjoy both of them, so I got the best of both worlds. Fitting around here with these tees. When you practice it, they go in easily. When it comes to doing the real thing, they don't always go in as you would like them to do. So maybe a bit of hold my mouth the right way, then they'll go in. Okay. The teas are made out, I think I might have said that earlier on, that they're made out of wood because, and lots of golf courses are just saying that you can only use wooden teas because the machinery gets broken if you use plastic ones. It doesn't do the blades on the mowers very good. It actually damages them quite badly. So I've got some pink teas on that side, and then maybe we'll just put a couple over this side as well. Just to balance it out. It's a lovely afternoon here in Adelaide, so it would be very nice out on that golf course this afternoon. There's no wind and the sun's shining really, really nicely. So that's my bag with my golf tees. Well, I think I'm just about ready to go out onto that golf course now. So before I can go out on the golf course, I think I might need to take an umbrella so it can protect me from the sun or the rain, plus protect my golf clubs. So now I'm going to put my umbrella in my golf bag. Hopefully it's going to protect the golf clubs. And if I need to shelter under it from the sun or the rain. A bit tricky this is. It's already up. When it's down, it goes in your bag much easier. And sit there nicely for me. So there's my umbrella to protect the clubs and myself from the elements. And now when I go out onto that golf course, I think there's going to be some beautiful green fairways. So I'm going to add a little bit of greenery just to finish off my design here. So I hope that I'm going to have a really good day out on that golf course. Hope that I'm not going to hit any balls into the trees or into the sand, and that I get a good score and enjoy my round. So we'll just tie this little bit of asparagus spoon to the golf bag, just to add a little bit of another element to the design. So I hope you've enjoyed your day of golf at Grange in Adelaide, South Australia. Thank you very much. So just welcome to the Grange Golf Club. Here we have a beautiful green, a lovely fairway, and we're being very spoilt at the moment. We've got the yellow-tailed black cockatoos flying over and making lots of noise. And we've got lovely trees and beautiful greens, and as you can see, it's a very serene, lovely place to be. So this is a very special part of South Australia.
And so there we had Patsy Stamp from the Floral Design Council of South Australia. It's now my pleasure to invite Anne Crasty to thank our two demonstrators from our state groups this morning, Josie Brennan from the Victorian Floral Art Association and Patsy Stamp from the Floral Design Council of South Australia. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you. Well, Patsy and Josie, on behalf of New South Wales, really, we give you a great thank you, because not only were you gracious enough to say that you would do our demonstrations, but when I came back and said please, can you record them? You didn't scream and run. You actually did exactly what we asked of you, and they were both wonderful demonstrations. Josie, thank you for that geometric contemporary. The new mechanic from Bunnings, which is always welcome. The alignment of your design was superb. Those pictures at the end really showed it off well. And Patsy, you've given us an insight into COVID in South Australia. Thank goodness they kept the golf courses open. Your golf bag was delightful. We really loved it. And that last clip, almost tempted to take up golf. Thank you both so much for all the work and the effort that you've put in. We really, really appreciate it.
And thank you everyone for attending this session this morning. That completes this session, session 2. We will see you again if you are able to join us